But
I'm sure she loves her talking about fantasy football on date night.
of course.
They were there yesterday, bro, or the day before that. Don't worry about it. They just been going.
Don't think she don't care no less.
I know. Hey,
You don't
I
care
ain't
about
arguing.
none of this shit till she gets to play us and talk shit to us.
She should be part of this conversation, but she doesn't. All her arguments.
She
are
should.
about-
She's been on the team for the whole time. How you doing, Melissa?
He said hi. So you can help solve this situation for us. So
Chris, thank you for the glass. Thank you.
No sweat. I can't even see you right now. So it's just your phone number. But what are y'all resolving? Have you already made your decision?
we're trying to solve
Not
this
at all.
keeper franchise thing. I'm trying to say 1 year you keep the player at the position you drafted, the pick you drafted. Second year it goes up transitions to a halfway tag. The third year,
Where I disagree, just to point that out.
it automatically counts you the projected pick that year going into the season.
I think I do remember this part of our argument earlier after the season ended. And I do feel like that's a bit arbitrary. That it should be just whether it's the first round or second round you lose. Instead of moving it around to a halfway point.
Okay, so mine was, I was telling him, most of the time those players are within the top 5 rounds, right? So they should cost you at least a round 5. The second year. The third year should cost you a round 1 or 2, whatever he's being drafted at.
Yeah, I don't know. That one's even hard of what they're being drafted at because of how you weight positions. Drafts are completely different. Like our league values different things than maybe a quarterback league.
But we said the value is going to be based on standard Yahoo settings. And
Yeah, your
projections.
ADP.
I feel
or
like
whatever.
that's too arbitrary. But I'm fine with it. If y'all agree, I'm fine with
No,
it.
we don't
But
agree. That's why we want you.
We're
I
not-
see
we're
the
not-
we're not
standard
agreeing.
I just want it like who's around. That's what you lose if you keep your player. I don't care what round it is, but then it's skin in the game on both sides.
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell him. Like, it should cost you. You should feel like it costs because at round 5, there's always a player that you want, right? And then there's a player that you're going to keep that you really, really want, right? So you should make it feel like, hey, I'm giving up something because I really want this player. And then the third year is like, hey, well, I really want this player. It's going to cost me the first round or second, whatever.
Yeah. So I would be like second or third round you give up no matter what.
See, damn. See, I like that one even better, and that's what I told Jamal. I said, to me, that keeper should cost you. You should feel it. You should feel a hole in your pocket.
Yeah, a keeper's a franchise player. That's who you're building
It's
your team
costing
around.
you.
One keeper.
So then that means the case then we should extend the years then.
Huh?
Extend
No,
the
like-
years.
Well, if you're going to extend the years, then it should cost you even more every time.
Why should it cost you so much
Because
more?
you're extending. If you're talking about compensating to being very similar to NFL, then it should always cost you. Every player costs. Whenever you're going to do a franchise tag, it costs you, right?
It costs you the highest top 5 highest salaries.
Okay.
Which is why the first round pick or second round pick should be that last year in the franchise.
No.
Extensions for rookies, extensions should be for a higher paid but a not fully paid higher salary. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, so I understand completely what you're saying, and I think two things immediately. One, I do like that designation. You drafting a rookie is different
Exactly.
than drafting Mahomes. That if you draft a rookie, cool, maybe you can keep it for 6 years. But the whole reason we reset it is because people felt like they didn't have a chance. And so to bring parity back, I think we have to have that you can only keep it a max amount of years.
Yes.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
I'm fine with you draft a rookie and you risk it all, and that rookie becomes a star. Cool, keep it as long. But maybe that's 5 years versus 3. But I do feel like we reset the whole league to provide parity. Let's make sure the parity stays in.
So then are we going to say that rookies get the special deal versus a vet?
Yeah, like rookie, you could keep a rookie for 5 years versus keeping a vet for 3 max, or I don't know.
But see, that's what I was telling Jamal. Whenever you restructure and franchise a rookie, you have him, 4 years, right? The first year you draft him, then
You draft
second,
him for
third,
4
fourth,
years.
right? full,
Like,
right?
the
So
the actual contract is you draft them for 4 years,
right, okay. So there goes again. The
but you
first
have
year
a
you
fifth
draft
year.
him, right? The first year you draft him is one, right? You already played with him 1 year. Then that's why you keep him 3 years, right? Because that's that first year you drafted him. That first year you kept him. Second, third. That's how it would go. That's 4 years. I don't know what you're talking about extensions.
Okay, so the real, that's what I'm trying to say. The real work for rookies is you have them sign their contract with a 4 year deal, a fifth year option. The fifth year option, it comes higher pay salary, which is not the highest pay salary in the league. It's just a higher paid salary than what his rookie contract deal is. So if they're going to pay a rookie deal of $5 million a year, their fifth year option deal, which is a transition option, which is about, let's say, $10 or $12 million, $15 million contract.
Okay, so the
Now,
fifth year
if
should
you
should cost you the first round and a number 10
that's
round,
that no
or
no
what?
that,
Well, that's what I'm
that's
saying.
where
So I mean, you can't
that's where the
really
price
structure
goes
that into
up.
the fantasy.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's where the price tag goes up. Now, if you franchise them afterwards, that's the different story. That's when the price tag goes way high. It's the top five salaries in the league. So when you have a fifth year option on a rookie, it's not the top five salaries. It's just a midway point of the middle of the league or middle of basic where it is. So a tackle or a QB can be costing you 15 million, rather a QB franchise is costing you 45 million. You see what I'm saying? So that's why that franchise tag for that last year, keeping them, should be a first round pick.
When did Beer League 2.0 start? What year?
2007. The
2000,
2.0, no, 2.0 started 2008.
2008?
Yes,
So that's been already 12 years in that?
pretty much.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. 6 years, 5 years, 6 years seems like a lot.
That's
I
a
just
lot.
said 4 years.
If we want parity, we got to cut the years down of keepers.
Again,
If we
I
want
agree.
more people, new people coming in and feeling like they have a chance, we have to cut these
Which
down.
brings me to
I
my
agree.
next point. Every so often, there should be a redraft.
If you're where you're going about it, Junior, you're going to have a redraft every year because no one's going to want to keep a guy after paying a second round pick for a guy.
No. Okay, so but no, no. I mean, every 5 years in our league, starting this year, we do a redraft. Every 6 years, every 7 years, whatever,
Okay, so
whatever.
so let's say if we did it last year, we did the redraft last year, and I had, like I said, James Robinson, undrafted. I picked him up after the first week. I'm keeping him this year as a late round pick, or I'm keeping him as a what? A fifth round pick.
As I just to meet you in the middle between what I want and what you want, I would say as a fifth round pick.
Why fifth round pick?
I don't feel like a
Because-
fifth round's worth enough.
Exactly,
I
because
want it to hurt if
I-
you're keeping it.
Bro,
So then that's-
me
then
and
that's the
Chris
case.
agree. I
So then
would
that's the
I would
case
say it
then
should cost
I
you a
would
number
not keep-
3 at a bare minimum.
So that's the case. Then I wouldn't want to keep a player at all.
Cool, and
That's perfect.
Everyone's
That's
parity. That's the
perfect. That's the whole thing about it. It's supposed
So
to be
then
competitiveness.
So then there's no keep pick at all.
I mean, I would keep a Justin
Yeah,
Herbert.
that's cool.
I would
It-
keep it I'm telling you, if I draft Justin Herbert, that's probably gonna be my keeper
Why is that?
because I like the guy, and that's just
But
how
they-
I am. Not everybody thinks
he's
like
Justin
you.
Herbert's biggest fan.
True, that's very true.
Hey, you still can't see me, Chris? Look, I got a PSG
cannot.
jersey on. Why can't you see me?
I don't know. It
I can
just
see
shows-
all three of us are on my screen. So I got that PSG jersey for Messi. You know?
You
like-
already got it?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
That's nice.
But again, when I believe in a player, and that's what I was telling Jamal. Half the damn time, I'm usually right about the players I pick, and it's just one player. You know, I'll be like, "Hey, this guy's going off. I want him, and I get him." And that's just it.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's different, man. So this gives everybody the opportunity to play how they play. You may say that it's not worth it, but for example, a Christian McCaffrey is the top three rounds, no matter what. So if you're a late pick, right? You're number 12. You're not guaranteed to get a Christian McCaffrey in round 2, 3, or 1, right? So keeping him would be valuable. You don't see it that way, but I do. If I was number 12
No.
drafting,
Because actually, the second year of McCaffrey, I had an option to keep McCaffrey and Camara. I kept Camara.
okay, well,
I
okay,
still got
Kamara, switch it up.
I still kept. McCaffrey, that's a second round pick because I picked him up.
But you have to think about it. Like, I just think there has to be a price if we, because by setting the price so high and having the restriction for how long you can keep it, then on Junior's point, we don't have to redraft every 5 years because the players are going to naturally rotate.
Exactly, they're gonna naturally fall off.
And that's perfect. That's a good system.
I don't think we should raise the prices so high. Again, it's just
There shouldn't be 12 keepers.
Oh, and
Like-
first and foremost,
It should be like half the league are great players that change your team.
Yeah, no.
Those should be the other one should be like, I'll risk it this year and dump that player and get someone else.
Okay, and let's just go back to the beginning. Before we used to be able to keep a player drafted after round 5. Now we're able to keep a player drafted in round 1. There's a big difference there. There's a step. We're not going back down. We're actually going back up in rounds as far as what player we can keep. That makes a big difference. If you can keep a round 1, round 2 player, then it should cost you that from day 1. I'm just saying, like, I don't see the reason behind not being able to do what I'm saying, because we're still telling you, hey.
I agree with Junior. Or I get Mahomes back.
That's fine. Draft him number 1. It's okay. I love that guy. I can't hate that guy.
But either way, I'm fine with. But if we want parity, I think the less is better on that.
That's what I'm saying.
Did he log off because he was done?
I have no idea. He's probably put us on mute and talking like, oh, this motherfuckers.
He's like, give me 5 whiskeys.
I know, bro. Oh, he did get off.
Oh.
It's all good, dude. I don't know why you can't see me, but I can see you. But I'm drinking out of your glass cup, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna drink that tonight. I'm drinking the tequila with lime and mineral water. I
haven't drank all week. I am drinking mineral water though. So keeping the Perrier on tap.
Oh, what's up? Hey, I've been drinking that. I drank some of that last week, bro. I already lost like 6 pounds, so I'm super happy about that.
Yeah, I love that Perrier. It just hits different than that Kroger sparkling brand.
Well, right now I'm on that Topo Chico. You know, we stay true to our roots.
Topo?
Yeah.
Hey, Topo's consistent.
It is.
That's West Texas. I used to have tons of Topo.
Oh, man. What you know about West Texas anyways?
Man, I lived in West Texas for 13 years.
What? No.
Yeah.
Wait, what part?
Oh, I lived in Lubbock.
Okay, that's not too bad, bro. I mean, when you say West Texas, I'm thinking about like Odessa, places that have nothing.
Not only did I spend time in Medessa, I spent a lot of time in Pecos.
Oh, bro.
Because that's where all my friends are down there.
Dude, there's nothing down there, though.
It's nothing but the same 500 people.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, man, when you're talking about West Texas, you know, in my field, that's what you're like, oh, dude, you're going out there. You got to drive like an hour just to go to Walmart. and then the food is incredibly expensive. You want a good taco? Oh, yeah, that's $20. What? Hold up.
But that's why everybody out there just like cooks together. It'd be like, oh, I'm coming into town. Oh, we over Matt's house barbecuing in the backyard.
Come on. Yeah, bring a bottle. Bring a handle. Yeah. We're good.
Like, that's all it was. I was like, no, I love West Texas. Like, people I met out there, great.
But you haven't worked out there.
I wasn't in an oil field. No.
Yeah, oh, we hate that place. I mean, it's not because our job is difficult. It's just the fact that how we work, and you know, we don't really live down there, but we do. It's like it's the worst. Hotels are always packed. You can't find an Airbnb. So what you have to do is take your own little trailer or RV, and actually that's the only way you'll live comfortably and make money. So
yeah, if you don't know somebody, it's tough. I get that because it's way too expensive.
You ain't lying. But anyways.
But yeah, I don't even know how to add her on this call. He said add her because he hung up on us and then he blamed it on his phone dying. But
no, he did say that his phone was dying before you got on. So I mean, I don't blame him. But in in my way of thinking is that if we're trying to attract players, and even if we're not, it's fun to make it that much more competitive because he's always talking shit. Oh, the 6-time champ, this and that. Okay, accept competitiveness. If you want to make it a challenge for yourself, then you should allow these type of rules to be infiltrated into our league. Saying, hey, you want a keeper, it's going to cost you and me. You're going to feel it. It's just not fair for the next person up saying, well, man, I'm going to try to not have a keeper or trying to have this keeper, but then the next guy, oh, man, I can't get this guy. When you're getting new players in, at that point, then, okay, if you do that, what I told him is, all right, every time we have 3 new players, we should do a redraft, or 4 new players, let's have a redraft. That way, everybody stays, pretty up to par. Everyone gets to get a pick, and no one feels left out. And he was like, no, let's do about 5 or 6. And I was like, well, if it's 4, we should put it to a vote if we're going to have a redraft. And that was one of the rules that I was trying to incorporate into that. If you're going to have 4 new players, you should let, a redraft. If you have 3 new players, put that into a vote. And, same as 4. Like, hey, what do you feel about this? Should we do it? What do you think? And if you have 6, indefinitely, we're having a redraft, That's about half the league, if not more than half, depending on where we're at that year. Makes sense, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, and that's why I say if we're gonna do it, since we did blow up the league last year, is we should set the rules, make it as competitive as possible,
and
then
clear.
Also for all the new people in the league, let them draft first.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I am perfectly fine with that.
Because I think everybody is good not having the best team the first year, but when they get the second year and they feel like they don't have a chance at great players, that's when they quit.
I agree.
Nobody wants to pay money to feel like they don't have a chance.
I agree.
And every team shouldn't have a keeper. That's why I think it should cost the most as possible. So some people have to be like, yeah, he was a good quarterback last year, but could Tannehill pull it off back to back?
I don't know.
I don't know if that's worth the first if I could get someone else.
Yeah.
But if it's the third or fourth, I'll keep Tannehill no matter what.
Exactly.
For a fourth? Yeah, like that's nothing.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. So, but so that's the thing. I feel like the league was structured on a keeper league, and that's cool. And it'll still be a keeper league. We're just making it more competitive and new team friendly. That's all. Because we're invited, if a new team comes in, there won't be as many keepers, number one. Number two, you want it to be competitive. The guy that won last year won't be able to keep that one guy unless they really want him.
True. Or he might have 2 players, and then he has to really choose.
Exactly. Okay, yeah. But that's what I'm trying to say. Like, make it a challenge, even on the guy who won. I
agree with you. It should be a hard decision to make up until almost draft time to be like, am I keeping or not?
Because, okay, for you, Patrick Mahomes is a no-brainer for the next 5-6 years. Simple.
Correct. Yeah, I probably would have kept Patrick Mahomes indefinitely. Even if he shattered his leg the first game of the week, I would have kept his ass and gave up the pick the next year.
Obviously, you love that guy. I mean, we all like that guy. And
it's clear he's a top 5 pick no matter in what league you're in. Someone's taking him within the first top 5 picks.
Precisely.
That's worth a first pick.
Exactly.
And it's just not all are that, but there's great quarterbacks that you can pick up that will be available because somebody didn't want to use their keeper on them.
Exactly.
Or a wide receiver or running back, any of that. It's just going to create availability.
And that's what I was trying to explain to him. Like, hey, this is what we do. Oh, about time.
You back. Did you ask the bartender for a plug?
This thing is about to die anyway, too, so
okay.
Enjoy the minute you have.
All right. We'll enjoy the minute to give your husband back. All right, so we made a decision. The board has spoken. Jamal. You okay? Oh, all right.
He has something big and black in his mouth.
Yeah.
It's
The
brown,
shit that
but
the shit you're trying to give to both of us. So what did we decide on this keeper thing?
Well, we're
all
going
right.
to tell
So
you what we both
think
agreed upon.
we think the keeper has to burn, and it came down. It's the Tannehill rule that if Tannehill had one of the greatest quarterback seasons last year, if he cost you a fifth pick,
You want some more?
you keep Tannehill every single
Give me a
time.
little thing.
If he costs you a first, he might be draftable because that might be too high for that person that could keep him. So for that reason, that's why we think it needs to be a first or second pick is the penalty, and then the new teams always get the draft ahead of the established teams to continue to create parity.
Oh, that's a gift. That's automatic for new guys. They're going to draft first because they're new, like an expansion draft anyway. But so you're saying if we want to keep a guy, it's going to have to cost us a second round pick at the rate.
First or second.
Yeah, I prefer first, but I could take a second.
And that's what I'm saying. Like I'm compromising because I wasn't even as like.
But what's a guy's name worth that first round pick?
Then you don't keep it, and somebody else has the chance. Because the problem is every time somebody comes in new to the league, the first year you could be okay and stuck in the league, and you'll come back. You have 2 bad years because you feel like there's no good players because they're all capped. Then you don't return the third year.
All I gotta say is look at what's his name, Eric. I mean that guy threw me off. He's still in there, right? but he still keeps coming back. But I definitely, like, me and Chris agreed on this. Like, this is what we agree upon. Jamal, I don't know if you're doing it for your own benefit or what, but I mean, I'm not 200% with what you're choosing to make a rule.
Y'all outvoted me on all the other rules. 2 keepers, 2 players, everything.
Oh, dude, 2 keepers. Oh my God, brother. Don't do that to me. The only thing I would say about the 2 keeper rule is that the last place should be able to keep 2 keepers. Last place.
No.
That's the only thing that I would say. No. But there would be some stringent rules on that. But again, that's the only way that I would say the 2 keeper rule would go into effect.
But the 2 keeper rule, what you're saying, wouldn't really benefit for them at all. Actually, it'd be a crutch for them.
What do you mean?
Because they're gonna give up. If you have to keep, like I said, if the person is not even worth a second round pick, let's say they get someone and it's only worth at very minimum or max value. Let's say the max value is worth a 5th round pick or a 4th round pick. So I mean, they give up a second round pick and they gotta give up a 1st round pick just to. I mean, their draft is screwed because they didn't draft well.
No, well, remember the first year is not gonna cost. Well, yeah, actually, it's never mind.
You see what I'm saying? That's what you're telling me.
But again, it's an option. That means you don't have to take it. It's an option. All these are options. They're not like set in stone. If you are given the privilege to keep 2 players, then you can. Doesn't mean you have to. Remember that. You as the last place on the league get an option of keeping 2 players. But now we're moving too much past what we already talked about. So let's not go further into that before we decide the actual genuine keeper rule number 1.
Yeah, I knowing me, I wouldn't keep nobody.
Great.
I wouldn't keep.
Perfect.
I wouldn't keep nobody.
That's what I wanted to hear. Say less.
I wouldn't keep nobody. So I mean, I wouldn't. If it was me, I wouldn't keep nobody, no matter what it is. Because if they're gonna cost me a 1st or 2nd round pick just for that guy, no matter what the rules are, I wouldn't keep nobody. It wouldn't make no sense.
You know who'd be great in here, bro? Fucking Alex. I would love to hear his opinion, but
I think he was actually on board with the same thing I was thinking.
So basically, 3-panel is better because it'd be me and Chris against you and Alex.
Yeah. So like I said, if we're going to go that route, I mean the keeper's going to have to go away.
So how do we meet in the middle?
There's no meet in the middle. If you're going to cost you a 1st, 2nd round pick, there's no it wouldn't make no sense if someone got picked in round 20 and it's going to cost you a first round pick. Because there's not a lot of players who go from 20th, the last pick in the draft, to a first round automatically. There's
Perfect.
not a lot
All
of
right.
players.
Okay, but understand, the player that you're keeping is probably drafted in round 1 or 2.
No, not really.
Not all the time, but over 70% of the time, I guarantee you that the person's going to pick a round 1 or 2 player.
They're going to try to. Your keeper alone has not been around 1 or 2.
70%, bro. It's not 100%. That means the other 30% is open to that rookie. It's open to that waiver wire pickup. I agree. I'm not arguing. I'm just saying the majority of the time, people are going to pick a round 1 or round 2 player anyways.
Yeah.
So let it cost them that.
If we look at the last 2 or 3 years of keeper picks, how many were actually kept in the first round, or second round?
Well, you can't because we weren't allowed to.
No, look, no, you can, because they were actually drafted after the 5th round or 4th round, whatever we had the rule of place. How many were actually projected to go in that round, the first 2 rounds?
Todd Gurley, Alvin Kamara, McCaffrey could have been a keeper. That's just an option.
No, but he was never kept though. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but he was an option. I'm just saying that if someone had the option to keep him,
we're not looking at options. We're looking at stated facts. The last 3 years, keepers we actually
only
had
because
selected.
I don't have that in front of me. I can't give it to you. But off the rip, Mahomes. Off the rip, Mahomes. I already said Kamara. Off the rip.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson. Off the rip.
Lamar Jackson was a round 2 pick.
Well, he was going so you have to keep this. People were picking him up round 1 and round 2. Those 2 quarterbacks were being picked up top 3 rounds all day.
I'll give you Lamar Jackson. That's 3 players.
That's 3. I had said somebody else.
We had 12 teams for most of the time.
Right. No.
12 or 14 teams. So you tell me out of 12 to 16 teams the last 3 years, only 3 players who've been kept.
Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley. When he was there.
The first year.
No, because dude, he was a round 1 pick, and the only thing about that is that the douche kept him forever.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so whether was he or not, he was a round 1. That's 4. Who else, bro? And again, this is just me thinking. This isn't even me pulling up the keepers, because if we pull up keepers, we would actually have more than just 5. I guarantee.
We wouldn't.
I promise.
I promise. We wouldn't.
Can I interject? Because I feel like, Jamal, you're just driving me at least more to the first round pick. That the art, it doesn't matter who kept it and where it was kept. We did this for competitiveness. We're trying something different, and we're trying to grow the league. As you indicated, this is the best way for competitiveness to grow the league. Is to give everybody a chance. If you don't get it, it should hurt to use a first to keep the player. You should be thinking about it up until the draft. You should have to wonder and have some dissonance afterwards. Will I make the right decision? That's the fun of it.
I think it should be some parity as far as saying so after 1 year, you do find someone else who's actually worth keeping the pick. And like I said, we look at the last 3 years of keepers. Some of these guys that kept Tannehill, some of these guys that kept Gronk, some of these guys that kept some of the guys who went round 5 and round 6. So should they get penalized for keeping those guys for 2 or 3 years at round 6?
Yes.
Or round 8?
Yes.
I think they should be kept if a first year somewhat at a cheaper price, and then go to
Is this done?
and then go to a higher pick.
Okay, so first year it costs you round number 4. Are you okay with
I
that?
love the color.
Hey, man. Yeah, definitely.
You know him?
Yeah.
Jamal, stop showing your face,
Yeah.
man.
Jamal has a date, so let's let it go.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll finish this by text later. But I'm okay with that. How about we compromise and say 3, 2, 1? The first year keeper's 3, second year's the second round, third year's the first.
No third year. You do 2 years. 2 years
Oh
only.
God! Hold up! Now you didn't
So
cut
next
that
time,
off
if you
What
come in,
dramatically.
Yeah.
Holy-
do it Cheetos.
So
and-
if we going that
and,
route, I mean, I understand what you're trying to say. You be competitive and everything else.
it's cheaper.
Let's do it the first
And
year,
it's
a higher
actually
price, but not
really
the
good.
full price of 1 or 2 years. Let's do it at around 4, around 5.
No,
Let's do it
round
that way.
4. Don't be going any lower than round
Need
4.
at least 3.
Let's put it this way.
And the
Let's make
women-
it stages.
Yeah, the women
Make it stages to where they have to go round up. So if they pick in the last, bottom half, round 20, it costs them round 5. If they pick in the,
No.
between 20 and
No.
so, they get the round 4.
No,
They get
negative,
between
negative.
15 or so, those, they get top round 3.
No, because the fact of the
I think
matter
that's-
is that the player. Okay, so check this out. The fact of the matter that player that you're gonna keep is guaranteed top 5 rounds all day, all day. So in order for it to hurt, it has to be round 4.
I say off the bat, if it's worth that much, if they really improve that much, it should cost them that first year. And first second round pick, if they really improve that much, I have no problem. If someone like I said, Kamara come out to be round 2 pick the very next year, and it cost me the last round pick, I should have given up a second round pick at the very little. I agree. I 100% agree.
But that's why your second year, round 4. Chris says round 3. I'm
3.
fine with whichever.
But I say also at the same time though is if someone's kept in, let's say, round 10, and next year he's only projected to go around 6, to cost him a first round pick, a second round pick. No.
I mean, I'm kind of, that's a downfall of it. But who would want to pick a player that's going to be projected at round 10?
But that's what our league. But that's what our league's been doing. That's what the stat says. Over 50% of our keepers, have been projected the next year to go around 6 or later. 50%.
I don't know, man. But that's on them, bro. Maybe that'll make them want to change the way they keep players.
I think it could cost them.
and-
I don't think it
hold
could
on.
cost them a first round pick.
Right, hold on. And hold on. And you have to remember, forget all that noise. You have to remember, we weren't able to pick a number 1 or number 2 rounder. Okay, now we are. There's a big difference between that. Big difference. Now we can choose a round 1, a round 2, a round 3 player, and we can keep them.
Ooh, no.
Back-
Everybody will keep round 1. Never keep around the top 5 rounds.
Okay,
4
so
rounds.
make that clear, because to me it wasn't clear.
No, never keep someone that. Because then that's the case. Everybody will keep a round 1 guy and keep him around 1, or keep around 2 and automatically. Oh, I keep all these guys.
Okay,
Someone new
so
come in, they
what
can
what
do.
would be the limit then?
Round 5, I think, should be the limit.
I mean,
I think that's halfway, but you finish your date. We'll finish this conversation later.
dang.
Man is on his date. Melissa's gonna kill both of us keeping him on the phone.
Chris, he agreed to this beforehand, so that's not our fault.
Yeah, she didn't agree to it.
I know, but mind you, we did not know he was going to be there. First and foremost.
Yeah, so we'll finish this. I think we should finish it later because
Go ahead.
Jamal's getting more absurd with his responses to logical agreement. 2 out of
it's
3
the alcohol.
agree to something, and he just swings for the fences.
Ugh.
But the back fence, the one behind the catcher.
I swing till it catches, okay?
I swing till it hits.
Yeah, we'll do this later. Finish your date, my man.
Yeah.
All right. I'll talk to you
All
later,
right.
guys.
You guys have
Bye.
a good night later.